You know, there's nothing like sitting around a fire with friends, enjoying the heat on a cool day, or just the light flickering from it at night. Don't you think?
Absolutely. It just makes me so relaxed.
It does. It's almost magical.
It's magical and mystical and very fun. Always enjoy your campfire.
So before we even start the fire, there are some things that you want to make sure that you have. So bucket of water for sure, just in case.
Not for bathing purposes, but in case your fire gets out of control.
Yes. Shovel, rake. We try to get some leaves away from the fire as much as we can. And the shovel, just in case it gets out of control or a flame jumps out of the fire pit, we can cover it real quick with the shovel, just in case. So these are some of the things that we want to make sure we have before we even light the fire.
Safety first, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Personal fire safety tips for you. So watch your long hair. You don't want it dangling into the fire and catching on fire. Woo, so let's put it in a bun or a ponytail.
And then when I lean over the fire, you'll notice my necklace and strings from my sweatshirt. Those could catch very easily too, so you want to make sure you either tie them up or just tuck them in.
Yeah, we want to see this great Ultimate Outsider logo. We love Ultimate Outsiders. Just be careful in general of loose clothing or even nylon clothing that easily could catch maybe on fire, even just get a little hole in it, so be aware of that. Always use a fire ring if available. You don't need a raging 4-foot high fire if you're just going to cook over a fire, so keep that in mind. If it's very windy, maybe common sense tells you don't use a fire. Flames and embers can really travel very far on windy days, and sometimes when you arrive at a campground, you're going to find out that there's a burning ban. Could be a county-wide burning ban, a statewide burning ban, and that means absolutely no fires. It's illegal. And so you're gonna have plan B, and you might be disappointed, but we always wanna keep in mind safety first. To protect our resources, never cut down a living or even a dead tree for that matter, and only use wood that will fit in the fire ring. Seriously, this is not safe.
Don't throw leaves onto your fire because all that's really going to do is smoke out your neighbors.
Woo! Oh, the smoke's going in my campsite. Gross!
Some things to avoid. You don't want to use treated wood or pallets because it's bad to burn. You also don't want to burn any type of screw because again, that's littering and you're going to smoke out your neighbor again.
And we see all the time as rangers, people burning trash. Fire pits are not for trash. They'll burn cans, which will never burn. Foil, plastic, which creates all these bad particles in the air and also smells bad. So just don't burn any type of trash in your fire ring. Where do you think we should put the tent?
Probably away from the fire.
Just to be safe. For safety, be careful of where you put things too close to the fire. You don't want to trip. Be careful of the grates.
Or where you put your firewood.
And be careful of all the natural roots in your campsite. Well, that was a really nice fire.
Yeah, it was. I'm going to add another log.
Aren't we getting ready to go? So should we just let it die down?
You're right. We should. We should let it burn out.
So always be careful. If you decide to leave just for a couple minutes, never leave the fire going. How about if you go to bed for the night? Should you ever leave a fire going? Even if it's low, never leave a fire going. Little embers could blow off into the trees and catch fire. It's never safe.
When you're leaving your site for good, you want to make sure your fire is completely out and you want to monitor it for a little while because sometimes there can be leftover embers.
We're getting ready to put out the fire, so I'm just going to take the shovel and I'm going to move all the logs around, try to spread out the flames to help it die down.
And I'm going to start taking cups of water and lightly sprinkling it on this because if I poured this whole bucket of water, it would just be a giant smoke cloud in Ann and I's face.
I hate smoke.
Me too. Burns your eyes. You'll get ash up in you. So we're just going to lightly sprinkle the water.
I'm just going to kind of keep raking it out, trying to break up the embers. Michaela's going to keep looking for all the orange spots. And also, move the logs around. Make sure the embers are out on all the sides of the log. It might take a while.
Definitely not a 2-minute process.
Not a 2-minute process. Can't say it enough. Don't leave your campsite unattended. Don't check out. Don't go to bed if there's still any orange coming out of your fire. Embers are still fire that can create a danger. We still have to put down our tent, so let's take down our tent and come back and see how this is.
Perfect.
What do you think?
It looks like there might be a couple spots.
Yeah, there's still a couple orange. Do a little bit more water. We're trying not to totally douse, put a whole bucket of water on it in case, the next incoming camper wants to build a fire. Trying to be good camping neighbors while being safe. I think we got it. But we'll continue to monitor for a couple more minutes.